A number of years ago, probably 10 years ago, I had a awakening experience, and for years afterwards, there was just this clarity, quietness, and a deep appreciation for everything.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, appreciation for shoelaces.
Yes.
For litter. For noise. You know, there was this quality of like taking off my clothes, putting on my clothes, this tactile, really okayness with everything.
Yes.
And then it seems that sense wears away. And I haven't encountered any other teachers or, you know, that could sort of point past that.
Oh, sure.
And so I'm just kind of wondering what your take on that is, or maybe, because it kind of seems like there's all this search and all this struggle, and then you realize, right, that there's nothing you can do and everything's actually spectacular the way it is.
Yes.
And then the fireworks seem to
settle over time.
Yeah, they seem to settle. I mean, they're still there. It's like if you look, you can still there. But
yes. But there's a sense of ordinariness that comes in,
very,
right?
very ordinary.
Extraordinarily ordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that you're not even feeling
anything.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many of you want it now? Yes. This is my experience too. Actually, it gets the accoutrements, I call them, or the byproducts of awakening. The byproducts aren't something that, you know, forever sustain themselves either.
Right.
Is it sort of, if anything, you wonder, what was all that about?
Right.
What
exactly.
Was you know. And so it does go into this place that's, to me, it's just profoundly simple. You know, we can't say it's something extraordinarily high or low or left or right. It's just profoundly.
It seems like it's hard to navigate, though. For me, there's a point. There's some. At this point, there's some looking back and saying, well, okay, there was this tension and this struggling and this searching and this looking, and then there was sort of this like just getting hit on the head real hard. Like,
right.
I was like, oh, okay, well, it's silly to be trying to. It's like lighting a candle in a burning house. You know, trying to
right.
You just put the matches down and you're like, okay, right. It's all,
no need.
Right. But then, you know, the house burns to the ground and you're still there. And
right.
You know, so it's like you look for more matches to burn another house down or something. That's what it seems like to me. There's like this, I don't know if there's an uncomfortableness or just an unfamiliarity or.
It's because it doesn't come with a set of instructions.
Right.
Here's how to be nothing. Here's how to be nobody. Here's how to. It doesn't come that way, does it? So it can be disorienting, and how to operate often is not immediately available or not immediately recognized. That's for certain.
And there's also this quality of like, it seems like most spiritual paths, they sort of couple like the body-mind wellness techniques with the awakening part. That's been my experience. And sort of, you know, you can push yourself to the edge.
Yes.
Not necessarily taking up all of those practices of morality and discipline and all these things. And it sort of seems like after you wake up or after there's the whatever it is, something comes back and like opens up every little nook and cranny.
That's it, isn't it? Yes.
Right? And so then you're like, well, I know that I know my true nature.
Right.
But at the same time, there's There's a lot of twigs in the river.
Yeah, there's all those little places that get opened. Right. And it does. And for those places that are still, I think of them, those areas where the truth hasn't penetrated, is that it doesn't do any good to stay in the ultimate dimension and go, I know it's not really true.
Yeah, it doesn't do any good.
Because that little twig obviously doesn't know that, does it? That little piece of one's psyche is often operating as if nothing was seen whatsoever.
Absolutely.
And this is where sort of the direct paths and progressive path converge. It's like...
Because then you go back in and you do all the work again.
You don't get to avoid yourself one way or another. It can be a bit easier when you've coming at it from the place of already free than from the place of panic and self-improvement. But still, if one's going to be honest, right? Which is, I think, obviously why you're up here, in part. Because I meet a lot of people that try to hide from all those remaining parts of themselves and just hide in the awake part. And of course, it doesn't work. But sooner or later, it becomes obvious. And when we're in the integrity of truth, there's something within us, something within the freedom itself, it seems to me, that just draws us towards anything that's not really done.
Draws or drags, yeah.
Draws or drags. Depending on your relationship, yes. Right. Yeah, it'll either entice you over or grab you by the collar, and yeah. Right.
So you just let that happen.
You absolutely. And you really, there is a necessity then to really, just let it happen. And let yourself really go into meeting what's really not awake. And what the only way I can make it clear is it's almost like temporarily when you go to meet it, you've got to sacrifice the awake part. Because otherwise you try to negate it again. Exactly. You can't get all of yourself in there as long as so it's almost like you're letting go of that for a moment and really going in and being honest with what's there. Oh, this is a part of one's psyche that's still really, the light hasn't got in here. And so to cooperate, to be willing to go in there. Willingly, knowingly. And as soon as you start to do that, then these pieces start to be able to open up. You start to see what you really need to see in order for that light to get in there. Yeah.
Because, a lot of the Zen stories are about, monks that wake up and then they go off to the brothel and go to the bar and just hit anybody they can find, and, and there's a quality of that doesn't go over well in this culture.
No, it doesn't go over too well. No. No. Plus, it's not an answer to anything.
Right. Yeah.
It's not really an answer to anything. See, to me, this is where, my guess, this is where really like the Bodhisattva ideal came from. There wasn't this ridiculous interpretation that's out there, like a bunch of half-enlightened guys stopping at the door to full nirvana and going, no, you first. I won't go in until everybody goes in. That never made sense to me. I never saw how that was going to help anybody. I'll stay in delusion and that's good for everybody. That's always seemed totally ridiculous. And it occurred to me when I started to get to the same point you're talking about, it suddenly occurred to me, this is probably what somebody was trying to talk about with that ideal. What they were talking about was coming back for the suffering of everything. And it's not something that we as a personality do. It's not a noble thing. It's what the truth, it's its natural cycle. There is a cycle where we're on the spiritual honeymoon. There's a cycle when we come back from the spiritual honeymoon. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
We come back from the spiritual honeymoon, right? We land back and they tear the lay off our neck and go, okay, welcome back to your life.
Right.
Welcome back to the body mind that now you know you're not, but sorry, you still got to deal with it.
Right.
And when you can feel that the nature of truth, that it's not a mistake, it's actually the nature of truth, that it returns for every piece that's not really awake. And that's actually a totally natural part of the process. And the more you cooperate with it, the easier it goes.
Yeah, right.
And the more you try to go, why is that there? I know it's not true. I've realized that all that's not true. Well, you realize it out here, but down in there, that doesn't realize it's true. And then we look, are we connected? Are we really in the truth enough to feel that it inherently has a draw to meet all those places? To me, this is just a matter of experience. It's not a philosophy. It's not even a good thing to do. It's just a natural maturation of this awakening within us. It just moves that way.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Enjoy the ride.
Oh,
Yeah, you know, it doesn't go anywhere, but we got to take it anyway. And a lot of people get themselves in a lot of trouble who refuse to take this part of the ride. Yeah, because they get more and more and more fractured from the part of them that's awake and the part of them that's not. You know, and whatever you deny, of course, gets empowered, right? Gets energized, and pretty soon you're a very frightening person. Yeah, come on up.
Yes?
Good evening.
Good evening. Hi.
Hi.
It's good to see you.
Thank you. It's nice to see you too.
I was just aroused by this last conversation and confused.
Oh, good. Aroused and confused. I must be doing
That's when my
job
hand
then.
went up so as it did. My confusion.
Okay.
If I have experienced truth
Yes.
in some form at some time, and then start to recognize some of the twigs that have not awakened to truth.
Yes.
Is it possible for the part of me that has recognized truth to support the parts of me that have not recognized truth?
Of course, that's what we're really talking about.
That's what I got confused about.
Yes.
It sounded to me like I need to leave that part of me behind.
No, I understand. I know it sounds that way, mostly because I said it that way.
Well, that's good.
But I'm not saying it necessarily literally, but to give the feel. I'm talking about it to someone who I'm trying to communicate the feel of what it's like, rather than you're not actually in truth leaving anything to go. It's not, from that point of view, it's not happening that way. But it's something I use to give a more visceral sense that there is, when there has been an awakening, you have the capacity to realize that anything that's still within your psyche, some people have quite a bit, some people have very, very little left after awakening, you never know, but you have the ability, you see that whatever's left that's not really awake, you see, it's not true. Whereas when we're not awake, we don't know that it's not true. That nonsense is what we think is true. And then we wake up, we realize it's not true. But there's parts often that simply because you realize that, you know that from the ultimate dimension, it doesn't mean it's stopped functioning in some ways. It doesn't mean that there's still little pockets of unconsciousness within oneself. Then the question becomes, what does one do? How do I engage? And the reason I used the language I did was to try to communicate that staying out here in this place where you see illusion is illusion, it's simply not good enough. It doesn't work for everything. It works for some things, it doesn't work for everything. That truth needs to somehow get into those unconscious parts In other words, consciousness needs to get into that which is unconscious so that it becomes conscious.
I understand.
And so I'm saying you're sort of sacrificing standing outside an illusion, and you're willingly and consciously going inside an illusion. It doesn't mean you're becoming deluded, however. It means you're consciously and willingly going in.
And so my consciousness can support my unconsciousness
Yes.
to become more conscious.
Absolutely.
Do I ever become really conscious?
Of course.
Oh, yeah? I mean, like, totally?
Find out.
I'm going. So